These are all the parts that I've purchased for this project. I have a rough idea in my head of what it's going to look like. These are just some like Busboy bins. I got these off Amazon. I'll leave a link to all the Amazon stuff down below and the McMaster stuff, and it'll be down there if it's still available. And these are just some bolt bins. This track's kind of cool because these actually lock on here like that. I wish they were a little wider, but I think these will work. These are some 10-inch Lego plates. These aren't actually officially Lego. They're just some knockoffs because they were a lot cheaper, and it let me get 8 of them. This is gonna be the actual top of the table. 4 of these for adjustable feet, and then some smaller drawer sliders I got from McMaster too, along with the feet. I got 3 sets of these. So like I said, I kind of have an idea in my head, but basically, I think we need to get the main frame built. And I know just by putting these all together how big I need it. So I need it 40 1/4 inches wide by 20 1/8 deep, I guess. So I'm gonna get building that now.
This is a big sanding drum from Empire Abrasives. I figured it would be easier to do all the sticks before I start cutting them up. The majority of this table is gonna be made from this 1 1/4, 1/8 inch thick aluminum square tube.
Now I have all the pieces to my sides and the basic frame cut. Well, first I'm gonna clean up all these little burrs that the saw made, and then I'm gonna make the sides first. Just gonna fixture it up here on the strong hand table, and then we'll put the frame rails in between it and make one big frame. Boop.
I made a little semi-fixture to do the 2 end pieces and have them identical as possible. There's a ton of welding on this, so I'll make sure to show some arc shots later.
So I cut 4 more braces now for the bottom here, and I'm probably gonna put them about 1 inch from the bottom. These 2 long ones here. The legs do need to spread out a little bit. It was pretty square, but not perfect. So probably put this about right there, and then I'll have room for my 3 buckets here. I just did a little rough measurement, and I'm probably gonna want this entire area. So I'm just gonna put this down at the bottom. I was hoping I could leave room, since this table's upside down, to vacuum under here, since it's gonna be in a kid's room. But I think for the drawer space that I want, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna put these in now. Now, I think for the next part, I need to put 2 more braces in here. This is the top surface, and I'm gonna eventually cut a whole sheet of aluminum that the Lego top will attach to. But I think if I don't put any braces right here, it's gonna get a little like noisy, flimsy. So I'm gonna put some cross braces here, and then we'll move on to the actual drawers. All right, next, now that the main structure is done, is getting these Busboy tubs mounted. This is something I thought could be cool if you're building a shop table or something, getting some of these Busboy totes. They're pretty sturdy. You can put stuff in them and then store them like drawers in your table, which is what I'm gonna try doing now. I bought some aluminum channel, so we'll run 3 channels on this side, and then obviously you have to put some supports over here and some kind of a stop so it doesn't just shoot out the back. And then these should function like drawers that you can pull out and carry with you if you need.
Here I'm just doing my best guess on how much room each of these bins need and how much space I can give in between each one of them to know where to put the tracks. Since the inside support is actually capped off on both sides to prevent it from building pressure while it was 1, welded in, and 2, while I was welding on these rails, I drilled a hole that the last rail will actually cover. Next, I had to remove the little support tabs on the bin to get them to slide nicely, and I didn't really love how the top drawer was sitting, so I just moved it a little bit, giving the first 2 tubs an equal amount of room but smaller, and then the bottom tub will have the most headroom.
The next, and probably the most complex task, is going to be figuring out how to mount these bins as individual drawers. They're actually gonna go this way, but I'm just showing you that way. And I want them to essentially pull out as much as they can for easy access and then tuck back in. So that's what we have to figure out next. But first, I want to talk about this video's sponsor, which is Empire Abrasives. Empire Abrasives has been a long-time supporter of this channel. I've been using their abrasives for a long time, and they have great quality for the value from my experience. You saw me using their drum earlier to get this finish on here, and we'll go back over it again to tune it up when the thing is completely done. Also, their hand pads, I can replicate some of this surface you saw where I was grinding and cleaning up. They're 3-inch conditioning discs, they're regular grinding discs. They have everything. Doesn't matter if you're using electric tools, pneumatic tools, if you need a big long grinder belt, they pretty much have everything. I'll leave a link to their website down below. If you follow that link, it kind of lets them know that you found them here. If you've never purchased anything from them before, you can use promo code Voss at checkout for an extra 10% off. So thanks again to Empire Abrasives for sponsoring this video. So I got a pair of these little drawer slides, one for each set of bins. That way they can be pushed in and pushed out separately. I thought I was getting the drawer slides, you know, where, because it said quick release, where you have the little lever right here and then this pulls apart, but these are not like that. These had to be unique, and they have this little piece right here that attaches to what would normally be like a cabinet drawer, and it locks like this. And then when it's attached, you would pull the little lever and slide it off the front. For this application, this seems like it's gonna cause more problems than what it's worth. So I'm not gonna use this, I don't think. Just gonna use one of these existing holes that's already on here, and drill another one, and probably just attach it with bolts, and it won't have a quick release, which I don't really need. Now the tricky part is gonna be positioning all this stuff and welding in all the tubing for the structure to hold all this. We're just gonna have to play it by ear here.
Since the orange bins and their backplate are meant to attach to a wall or a workbench, I need them to be drawers. So I drew up these parts in Fusion 360 and then I cut out 3 sets of them on the fast cut.
Now that I have all the rails done, it's time to figure out where they need to go. Obviously there's gonna be 3 on each side, and the plate's done and all welded up too. We plasma cut it out, welded up the sides, and this will bolt to the back of here, like this, and allow the drawer slide to bolt to this side, and then the other side of the drawer slide will bolt to these rails. So we need to locate the rails and set the height of all these drawers essentially.
Since the tubing is 1/8 of an inch thick, I think that's plenty just to be able to tap the threads right into it and bolt the drawer slides directly to the tubing without having to put any kind of nutsert or anything in. The button heads that I'm going to use, these little Allen button heads, were a little bit too big to fit inside the drawer slide and actually have the slide mechanism work. So a lot of them I had to put in this drill and turn the heads down to give them a little bit extra room.
All right, the next big part as far as fabrication goes is gonna be getting the top made and on. But before I do that, I need to put some kind of stopper for these drawers. Otherwise they're gonna go right through and hit the wall or whatever's behind this. So I think I'm going to put some kind of stopper on the back here out of what little bit of channel I have left. And it will fit, it'll probably go on this side and something like that. And just come over just a little bit to stop the bucket. And I'll have to make 3 of those.
These are called Clecos. You need these special pliers to get them on and off, but essentially they take the place for if you're going to do a rivet or a bolt, depending on the size, and it just holds stuff tight so you can take it on and off really fast. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to some down below. This is a countersunk kit I got from KBC Tool. I'm going to use the smallest one. I don't think it's the perfect angle for the countersunk rivets I'm going to use, but it works really nice. It's going to keep the rivets nice and flush. That way we can glue down our Lego top over top of this. These are 1/8" rivets, countersunk as you can see, and it's aluminum outside with a steel shank. The little plastic feet inserts that I found on McMaster were perfect because they're already threaded, but they don't quite fit into my tubing, but nothing a little grinder couldn't fix. These are the unmodified button heads, and I just used a little half nylock on the back with a really small washer to keep it looking nice. And then these are the button heads that actually had to be ground down because you can see the slide closes over top of them, so it needed plenty of clearance. Since I'm gonna glue the top down, I wanted to make sure everything was nice and rough so it was good adhesion, and hopefully this never has to come off. This is my first time giving this Loctite spray adhesive a try. At first I thought I could just flip the pieces over upside down on the table and spray them and then flip them down and stick them, but then I saw when I was doing a little test spray that it leaves a little bit of a web, so I was afraid it'd kind of make a mess doing that, so I put them down here on the cardboard. Sticking them down, I brought some Legos from home. That way I can make sure all the pieces line up and get them all clicked together. That way it's going to be like it's one big sheet. And after everything was pressed down, I cleaned up a little bit of that webbing that you can see here. It wasn't too bad actually though to rub off.
And here we go. Just a few more finishing touches. And that's it. I already know my son's gonna love it. I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think these pull-out bins are really cool, really easy to get to, pull stuff out, take them off really easy, get it back in, tucked away. There is a little bit of dead space here. You probably could put some shelving in here if I designed this a little bit differently. This being open is actually gonna work well in his room because there's probably gonna be a floor vent down here. I kinda wish it could be a little bit bigger, but just with the size of his room and other stuff he has in there, this is a perfect size for him. So maybe we'll make a bigger one for downstairs or something in the future with even more storage, because this will definitely not fit all the Legos we own, but he's mostly playing with Star Wars right now, and this will take care of all that. If you're new to my channel, I'm Justin Voss. I make welding and fabrication videos on YouTube just like this one. So if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to check out this video's sponsor, Empire Abrasives. The link is down below. If you've never been there, never ordered from them, you can use promo code VOSS at checkout, get an extra 10%. And that's it. I'll see you next time.